It was an experiment, sly, calculated, and cold. In the quiet of a grand tiled mansion beneath a dazzling chandelier, with the faint ticking of an ancient clock, a safe stood open in the owner's study. Inside, heaps of cash were piled like verdant bricks of enticement, shimmering beside strands of gold and gems. He knew she'd pass through here. He knew her timetable to the second. The man, a magnate twice over, stood hidden beyond the hallway's arch, eyes sharp, not with rage, but with silent expectation. Yet as he watched his maid enter the room and pause before the open safe, he never imagined that the next few minutes would entirely unmake him, splitting open a heart he thought was long closed. If you believe in redemption, in the gentle power of kindness, and in the fortitude of character that can reshape lives, then pause now. Like this video, subscribe to TaleHook, and share this story. Let the world know that virtue still lives where no one watches. The maid's name was Lily, 32, slight, soft-spoken, with deep grey eyes that bore the weight of unspoken tales. She'd been at the Hawthorne estate for just over 7 months. A widow with 2 young girls and a mother battling illness, Lily was the kind who moved through grief quietly. Every dawn, she arrived before sunrise, tying her dark hair into a tidy bun, donning her modest uniform, and tackling her tasks without protest or delay. To most, she was invisible, a shadow, behind gleaming trays and shined tiles. But to Ethan Hawthorne, the reclusive magnate who'd inherited wealth but never gained peace, Lily was a puzzle that began to trouble him. Ethan had spent his life building and shielding his empire. People had cheated him, betrayed him, used him. His ex-wife took a fortune in their split. Former staff siphoned funds, friends turned greedy. So he built walls, steel ones around his vault, emotional ones around his heart. When Lily arrived, something about her was different. She didn't flatter, she didn't probe. She never lingered in rooms beyond her duties. And every record, every check showed her as flawlessly honest. It troubled Ethan, how her purity felt, almost menacing, too good to trust. That's when he devised the experiment. One Wednesday morning, just before her scheduled dusting of the study, Ethan left the safe ajar. He'd told his security team to disable the hallway cameras briefly. No one would know this moment happened except him. He wanted to see what Lily would do when faced with overwhelming temptation. Would she falter? Would she take? Or was she truly as unyielding as she appeared? Lily entered the room at exactly 8:42 a.m. She didn't see the safe at first, not until sunlight hit the steel door, flashing a glare across the polished tiles. She halted mid-step, her duster still in her gloved hand. Her eyes flicked to the safe, then quickly to the hallway. No one. Silence. Her breath caught. For a long moment she stood frozen, gazing at the open vault as if doubting its reality. Ethan's heart pounded. He watched as she approached slowly, warily. Her fingers hovered just above the stacks of money, then touched nothing. Instead, she drew the cleaning cloth from her apron and gently began wiping the safe's rim, careful not to nudge a single bundle inside. She didn't count the cash. She didn't glance around greedily. She simply cleaned the steel with the same precision she used on every surface in the mansion. And then, something unexpected occurred. Lily reached into her pocket and pulled out a small creased photo, old and worn. She glanced at the hallway again, as if needing to confirm she was alone, and set the photo on the shelf beside the cash. It showed 2 little girls, perhaps, 7 and 5, smiling brightly before a hospital bed where an older woman lay, smiling weakly. Lily whispered something too faint for even the hidden Ethan to hear. Then softly, she picked up the photo, kissed it, and tucked it back into her pocket. She closed the safe door. Ethan stepped back into the shadows, stunned. He wasn't sure what he'd expected. A swift hand, a stolen bill, maybe a moment's pause. But what he saw was reverence, sorrow, and love wrapped in restraint. He turned and walked away before she could see the tears forming in his eyes. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He kept replaying the moment, the photo, the soft kiss, the untouched safe. The weight of it settled on his chest like a truth he wasn't prepared to face. It wasn't about the experiment anymore. It was about her, about the kind of character he'd spent his life believing didn't exist. He realized he'd judged everyone through the wounds of his past, nearly missing the rare goodness standing quietly in his home. The next morning, Lily found a letter on the kitchen counter, addressed to her in Ethan's neat, firm handwriting. Inside was a short note. Integrity is priceless. So is peace. You've given me both. Your daughters and mother deserve a life without fear. Please accept the enclosed without guilt. It's not a reward. It's a thank you. Attached was a blank, signed check, ready for her. Lily sank into the nearest chair, dazed. Tears flowed down her face. Her hands shook as she pressed the letter to her heart. In that moment, the burden she'd carried for years eased slightly. Her mother's treatment, her girl's schooling, the threat of eviction, it could all vanish. Not because she begged or stole, but because she chose what was right when no one watched. That weekend, Ethan visited her home, not as her employer, but as a friend. He sat at her small wooden table, played with her daughters, and brought papers to help her buy a new home in a safer area. He offered her a new role, head of household operations, with full benefits and a schedule that let her care for her family. But more than that, he gave something rare for a man like him: trust. Sometimes the truest tests are passed in silence with unseen choices. Sometimes the richest people aren't those with brimming vaults, but those who live in truth even unwatched. If this story moved your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to TaleHook. We share true, emotional stories that reveal humanity's quiet power. Drop a comment below if you believe one act of integrity can change everything. And before you go, tell us in the comments, what would you do if no one was watching?